evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. We just give another 30 seconds just to see if people are joining in, and then we would go ahead and start the uh, demonstration. All right, I see most of you have joined in. So let me just quickly share my screen here and start my presentation. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar for Creo Illustrate. So, we will be looking into a couple of things with Creo Illustrate. This is the agenda for today. We would go through our introduction, introduce PDS Vision, and then we'll see what Creo Illustrate can do. And then we'll also look at some technical illustration challenges which we face during creating these SOPs, your manuals, those kind of stuff. And then we would quickly jump into a live demonstration where we would have a look at the features and how you can use them and how you can use them to create the technical illustration easily with the help of Creo Illustrate. And then at the end, we will also have the key takeaways, just so that we summarize everything what we did in the webinar, and we would also have some time for the question and answer. So if you have any questions, we would get to that at the end of it. You can as well use the questions tab or the chat window just to type in some questions in case if you have any. So PDS Vision, we are a huge organization. We are one of the platinum partners worldwide, and we have a combined experience of 2,500 years plus. So we know what we are doing in this field. And our head office is in Stockholm. We are in 12 countries. Um, and we are also in India, and we also have our own applications called the MyPDS apps, which basically complement the PTC's application to increase the value of your investments. I'm sorry, we are in 13 countries, not 12. Um, yeah, so this is our ecosystem. We have a couple of applications which we work with, but our main application is PTC and ANSYS, PTC products and ANSYS as well. Some of our customers around the globe are in different fields in automotive, medical, and high tech industries, and also some industrial machineries which use PTC application and are also part of PDS Vision. A quick introduction about myself. I have 11 years of real world design and manufacturing experience. I am a mechanical engineer, and I have four out of those 11 years. I have 4 years in CNC programming and 7 years in PTC product. I've worked with I've worked in different countries. I've worked in Dubai. Most of my experience is out of Dubai, and now I'm currently working out of India, Bangalore, and I'm the pre-sales manager for PDS Vision India. So in this webinar, we'll look into first thing which we would want to know is what can Creo Illustrate do? What does it do? What is Creo Illustrate, right? On a high level, Creo Illustrate is basically a technical illustration software that allows you to create 3D interactive graphics, your explode views, your animation, and also step-by-step instructions directly from your CAD data. So the use cases usually where Creo Illustrate is being used is creating your service manuals, your SOPs, your work instructions. All those things can be done using Creo Illustrate. You can also use it in case where you want to enhance your digital service parts catalog. You can use them there. um, you can also use them to produce field-friendly animations for your maintenance crews. So when your maintenance crews goes into the site and tries to maintain an machinery or an application, then they would have a visual pictorial representation of these information, which will be very handy for them to service those parts as well. And finally, there is generative AR content for remote support. So you can use these visuals and everything and integrate them with the AR so that you can visually see them when you are in a remote location and trying to support your maintenance crews and your technical people there to fix certain things which have gone wrong. Again, Creo Illustrate can create it creates rich text, 3D illustrations. You have, like you see on the slide, you can integrate with them with PLM and MBD workflows. You can automate certain things, like if your design parts have changed, then you can that gets automatically updated with the Creo Illustrate in case the designs have changed and those designs are used in the Creo Illustrate. Those designs also gets updated. It's also, since it's a part of PTC, Creo Illustrate is a part of PTC family. It is also integrated with Windchill. Now, if you manage your files over Windchill, you can import them from Windchill and do your technical illustration and then check that back in as well. And this can be automatically updated as these documents can be automatically updated as well. And this is just not integrated with the PLM. It can also work as a standalone application altogether. In case if you don't have a PLM or a PDM system, this can also work as a standard application as well. And it doesn't matter which 3D softwares you use Creo, you use any of the competitive products, you can still use these applications with those products as well. Now, let's look at some of the challenges which some of our customers face and during creating technical illustration, right? So whenever we talk about technical illustration, creating it manually is a slow and it's an outdated process, I can say. And it's also difficult for us to show some complex assemblies visually so that the end users or non CAD users or non-technical users can understand it. That's also difficult for us, difficult for people as well. Now, what Creo Illustrate brings in here is you can import directly 3D CAD models directly from your CAD software. You can have associative updates with CAD and PLM, ensuring your illustrations are auto updated when design changes are done. You can create explode views. You can have step-by-step instruction, like I said before, with intuitive tools. You can ensure consistent repeatability illustrations and procedures across all your products and teams. You can have a visual storytelling as well. Like you can have a video which is created as to how things are disassembled or how your product is assembled. Now, when you're publishing these parts, you can have different extensions for publishing. You can have PVC, which is the Creo View extension, wherein you can open these files in a Creo View, which again is free. Creo View Lite is free for your Windchill customers, and Creo View is also free for it comes as a free application with when you purchase Creo Parametric as well. So you can open these files in those applications as well without having the need for your licenses. It can also integrate with your augmented reality. For example, PTC has its own augmented reality called Vuforia, and with zero coding. This is something which is also good with zero coding. You don't need to have coding knowledge. It can also integrate that with Vuforia. So it also works independently from engineering. with the control over visuals, your outputs, while staying up to date with the design changes as well. We'll have a look at this when we are doing these demonstrations, which is next I'll get into. These are some of the challenges and also some of the things which which Creo Illustrates brings in, which can resolve these technical illustrative challenges. So let's now jump into our demonstration. Yeah. So first thing is I have my Creo Illustrate open. Currently, I'm using Creo Illustrate Professional version. You have different versions of Creo Illustrate. Um, Currently, what I'll be doing is I'll be only showing you the standalone feature of it because with the integration with PLM, the only thing you would have to do is you have to check out the part which you need to check out your bill of materials. And basically, using the help of Creo Illustrate, you'll have a Windchill button here, and you can import those files or open those files from your Windchill library, and then start working on Creo Illustrate from here. So in my case, I'm just gonna import the file which I have. Currently, I'll be using a blower engine, and when I open this, the first thing which you will see is we can import variety of file formats. So when I click on import and I click on links, you can see the different types of file formats I can import. I can directly import Creo parametric parts or SolidWorks parts or a step file, IGS file, or a Parasolid file, and bring them in here. Or I can use simplified representations of those files. For example, if we have exported the document, the 3D design in a PVC file, I can bring that in as well. In this scenario, what I'm doing is I'm just using the normal assembly file and bringing them inside of Creo Illustrate so that we can have a look. So upon selecting your open, Creo Illustrate asks me, how do I want to open my design? I keep it default to update after confirmation, which is always advisable. When I bring in the worm, you can see when I click on the default one, this is the part which I bring in. I can create and close or just create one. For me, since I'm working on only one product as of now, I'll just create and close it. Um, So on the left-hand side, you would see this similar to Creo Parametric. It's fairly easy to use. You have your tab features, which most of the applications are following the Word document features, like you have your different tabs, your home tab, your figure tabs, those kind of things. And on the left-hand side, you have your S-bombs. So and then you have your figures. And if I expand these S-bombs, you can also see your parts. So these S-bombs are basically taken in from your manufacturing bill of materials. So in your let's say you're using a PLM software and you have your MBOM which is created, you can extract that MBOM and bring that inside of Creo, or you can also do the same thing which I did, wherein I just imported the 3D CAD model directly onto Creo Illustrate as well. And then you can see the sub-assemblies which it has. For example, in this case, you can see here I have the piston sub-assembly and also the different parts which are associated for this assembly, right? And then I have at the bottom left corner, you have the data panel. If you want to hide them, you can hide them so that you can work on this part easily. And another thing is on the bill of materials, you can click on anything and the part gets highlighted on the graphical interface, or you can do the same thing by clicking on the part in the graphical interface and then the bill of material gets highlighted. In our case, I'm just going to switch off this mufflers for now. I don't want to use that. And also these boards which are holding these mufflers. I'm just going to switch them off. I don't need them, so I'm just switching them off here. So once I do that, Creo once I do that, the Creo Illustrate, what it does is you can pick and choose all these information on the side, and you can work with them, and you can switch off what all you need here, and switch them on if in case if you don't need them. So so the next thing which we want to do is uh, just figure out certain things which we have to set up first. So in the Home tab, you have your spin center. Again, this is similar to your spin center in Creo that helps you to spin the object around. You also have your transform window where you can transform these. You can remove these bolts, remove the glow plug, disassemble these components. You also have your symbols in case if you want to add these symbols. We'll have a look at it. You also have your explode lines wherein once you have created them, you can explode them. You can have those lines which gets associated with the explode lines. Under the figures, you have certain things. I always prefer changing the render mode to white shaded so that I can recolor them and then use that to my technical illustration. I can also change the light scenes. I can change the page setup uh, to replicate the page setup of my 3D the physical document. I can do that as well. I have my tool sections where I have something called the Smart Explode, which will also be exploring into, which will also be diving it into. And then you have also your sectioning, a part of it where you can section your assembly and exclude certain parts in case if you need, for example, like an intersection or something like that. And finally, you have your animation where you can create your sequence. And in these sequences, you can create a 3D video to send it to your customers or your maintenance crew so that they can have a look at how these parts are assembled, what all components are assembled, what all components are disassembled. So let's let's start from the beginning. Let's Since we have unhidden these parts, I can select a part, and you can see the SBOM and the part option window opens up. I can have dedicated part specific options transform, which is also available here in the Home tab. So the first thing which I'll do is I'll select the glow plug here, and I'm just gonna quickly go ahead and change its color. Let's say I use this. Yeah, and I will also select the cylinder head, and I will also go ahead and change the color of the cylinder head, right? I can do this for the other components as well in case if I need. So I can do this for this component, and I can say, okay, let's change it to this color. Uh, Yeah, so I'm not good at colors, so don't laugh at my coloring scheme. I was always not that great with colors. So then again, you can do these things according to your standards as well. So the next thing is I go inside figures. In figures, I always like one thing about figures I always like is using this option, which is gallery view. So I can set up my gallery view and I can say at the bottom here, it says use current view, and that snapshot gets created and the figure one gets the first snapshot. Now, in case I do some changes and I want to update this figure, I can go here and say use current view again, and then it gets updated. The next thing is I can go inside tools here, and I can use this option called smart assembly, or I can start to explode these manually. Let's first look into how we can explode these things manually, and then go and have a look at smart explode. Although smart explode is good, I am not a big fan of it because I always like my 3D illustrations to be in a structured way where I think that people in the industry would understand rather than having it explode by default. But it's a good tool in case if you have a very large assembly and it's really difficult to explode each and every component and take up too much of your time. And that's a really good tool where it explodes everything for you. We'll have a look at that as well. And then we'll also have a look at these two things called insets and callouts, where you can create your own ballooning standards, and then you can also focus on specific things inside your part, which basically, insets are basically something which you can focus on a specific part and have some illustration specific to those parts itself. Okay. So once I'm happy with this, what I usually do is I right click on this and duplicate it. But before I do that, I just want to make sure that I set up my page. So I can set up my page here. I can say US letter and I can say orientation to be landscape in this scenario, and I can have borders to it, and I can also add caption. As you can see here, the caption depends on the name which you have specified here, figure one, and the caption is here which says figure one. I can right click on this and I can rename it. I can say original, and the caption also gets changed. I can set this to set this window in such a way that it completely sets up to my screen, and then I can go back to home and I can say use current view, and the current view gets snapshotted. And from here I can say duplicate. I can duplicate the window, and once I duplicate the window, I can first thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and rename this. The first thing which we'll see is how to explode things. So I will actually explode these things and set the name as explode. So the first thing I will see I'll do is once I click on explode, I can select this part. I can click on transform and I can move the part up. I'll rotate this. I'll select the other four bolts as well to explode. And once I select those four bolts, I'll also select my glow plug. I'll again move them up. And then similarly, I press and hold Control and select the third part, which is our cylinder head, and then explode it. And then try to fit them in my screen itself. So I can do that. And once I do that, as you can see here, it's still not updated. My figure is still not updated. I can go back into figure view. I can say use current and it gets updated. So my exploded state gets updated, right? So the next thing, what I'll do is you don't need to create multiple figures. Multiple figures are, you can create n number of figures, but um, the figures are there for you to have different items, different information in different pages. For example, the first, this explode figure might just have the top surface, which is the upper surface, which has been exploded. And the second figures might have the lower bottom surface, which has been exploded, so that you can concentrate on one thing at a time during assembly or disassembly. So I'm just gonna duplicate this again, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna rename it, and I'm gonna add explode lines. So once I click on explode lines, I can select these components with the help of a window, and then I can click on explode lines, and my explode lines are also set up. The cool thing here I can do is if I don't want all the explode lines to be specific to these to the cylinder head to the cylinder body, what I can do is I can select this line, and it is very interactive. You can do changes to these lines. Right click on this, and I can say set the start point. I can say that the start point should be from the cylinder head, because the assembly happens after the cylinder head is assembled, and only then the glow plug gets installed, right? So I can set that up there. And the same thing I can do with these bolts as well, because once the cylinder head is kept in uh, and only then placed, and only then the bolts are added, right? So I can set these things to the set these things to the cylinder head, and this it starts from the cylinder head and finishes from the cylinder head. I can, let's say, if I want to transform this again, I can move them around, um, and then the explode lines also gets moved accordingly. I can have them moved to different various locations so that you know which gets assembled first and which gets assembled second. Now, once I'm happy with this, again, I go back here under figure view, use current. So let's say if I move around this, you can see that in the figure, it still remains the same. If I want to get back to that, I can say go to figure view, and it gets back to the original location where the snapshot was taken. That's something really nice. In case if I mess something up, I can go back to the default location. Again, if I duplicate them, let's say I go and rename this time, let's have a look at callouts. Now, once we have set them, the callouts are available here. You can have different callouts. You can also manage your callouts. Callouts are nothing but your ballooning features. You can have them balloon your part name. You can have them balloon your part number. You can have them. You can add a callout, and you can add the, let's say, PTC's parameters here. And once you add, let's say you want to add quantity, you can have those quantity added. Or else if you have a custom quantity, for example, not custom quantity, if you have your custom parameter added in your Creo design, you want to extract that parameter inside of Creo Illustrate, you can type that parameter in, and it basically can replicate, it can basically bring that in inside of Creo as well, Creo Illustrate as well. In our scenario, I'm just going to use a simple ballooning item number featuring. So I'm going to say that this has to be assembled first. And then once that is assembled, I need to select these four boards, and I want the call out to have these two things. This should be assembled second. And once that is done, I want the third one, which is the glow plug, which needs to be assembled for the top. So I can have them set up here. And once I'm happy with this, I can say use current, and it creates this callouts here. So the next thing, what I can do is, let's say I want a bit more detailed feature of this insets. So I can bring this original file, and I can duplicate this, and I can, let's call this insets just for the sake of it. And let's say I want to view this glow plug in detail, right? So I'm gonna reduce the size of it, and reduce the size of it. And then I'm going to use this inset feature, and then I'm going to select this inset, and I'm going to place this here so that I can actually set it up in a way that it's focusing just on the inset. And once I do this, I can have a couple of information set up. I can also right click on this and edit its properties. I can add a caption. Um, let's say I add a caption, install at last, so that after everything is done, install it. And I can say fill the background color so that it's highlighted. Um, let's say install glow plug. Okay, and once I'm happy with this, I can accept this, and it's set up there. So I can also change the leader, the sweep arrow, however I want it. If it's just a line I want it, I can keep it as a line, or if I need it as a width, I can change the width as well. So I can change those settings in that sense. Now, with insets, sometimes I need to give some symbols, like let's say a warning symbol, or maybe people have to take care of certain things when they're installing this glow plug, right? I can use these symbols. You have default symbols, um, default tools, default signs, your consumables. In case if you, let's say, if you're assembling a piston inside of a cylinder, you need to make sure that the piston outer cylinders are oiled before your piston sits in. So you can have those symbols also represent, let's say, oil can represent the oil, and then type in the information required, so that whenever the assembler looks at that information, he knows that he needs to oil the cylinder before he installs the piston. Now, in this case, what I'll do is I'll use a high voltage symbol warning, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to use a callout called notes, and I'm going to place it here, and I'm going to edit this notes. Here I'll say uh, uh, unplug battery before new glue plug install. So I can go inside labels. I can make sure the shape is changed to rectangle. And if I, in case I need to fill the color, I want to fill the color as yellow, I can change that and I can accept it. And then my information is set up here. So this way I can set up the insets. I can set up my you know information. I can add more information by adding my callouts, or I can have a default callout. I can have there are some default callouts here where I can have my item tags number. I can have no outline, just the numbers, or I can have one with a halo, which is just highlighting the number one. I can have those kind of callouts as well. So again, once I'm happy, always remember to select this use current view. If not, whatever you've done, it doesn't get snapshotted, and then you'd have to do this all over again. Just keep an eye on this figure view and make sure that you use current view. Just not click on this, because if you just click on this, it goes to goes to figure view, and it basically scrambles all the information which you have created. So this way you can create multiple information. We'll also have a look at, we'll duplicate this. We'll also have a look at this information, which is Smart Explode. And I'll just go ahead and rename this, and I'll say Smart Explode, and I'll say OK. So I'll click on Smart Explode. The first thing it's asking me here is there are no paths selected. So I can say, OK, let's go and select the entire part, and let's say add selected. So when it says add selected, I can just zoom out a bit so that it fits the screen, and I can explode them in Z axis. As you can see, this is the Z axis, or I can explode them in the X axis, or I can explode them in the Y axis. And in case if I want them to explode bidirectionally, I can explode them bidirectionally as well. Uh, so and once I'm happy with this and press on OK, and then the explode has happened. The reason I was telling you that I am not a big fan of Smart Explode is sometimes, in this case, it's fine, but sometimes certain things get intersected, and I want the explode to be created the way I want it to. For example, this explode which I've created, this is exactly how I want it to, not this way. So I can also select everything, and I can say explode lines, and it creates the explode lines, and I can set and modify them if I need to, or if I don't need to, I don't have to. So I can use I can also specifically say that, okay, just create some explode lines for these two bolts, and that's more than enough. And it creates the explode line for these two bolts as well. So I can select these now, and I can also move them so that, I can also move them, and I can make sure that these two are not going outside of the screen, and make sure that start point is set to this cylinder head, so that we know where this bolt gets assembled with the cylinder and the bottom component as well. So this way I can do a smart explode and have that here as well. So another thing which I actually want to show before I move into animation is the sectioning. So let's duplicate this and go inside sectioning option. And once I go inside sectioning, I can say view section. I can, as you can see, it's already started to section. The reason because is the preset is set to the x-axis or the y-axis. I can set it up to the y-axis, or I can set the preset to the x-axis. Although once my sectioning is done, I can use the sectioning, or if I have the sectioning already created inside of Creo Parametric, I can bring that sectioning in here as well, and then use that itself. I don't have to create the sectioning inside of this. Now, let's say I select these all parts and add them, and the section is created. But let's say I don't want the section to be created for this crankshaft, right? So I'll select this and I'll say remove crankshaft, and I can have this crankshaft removed, and have the entire assembly set up here. And then also have the call outs and whatever else is required. Or in this scenario, let's say my glow plug needs to be highlighted. I can have an inset again here. I can have this inset set up for the glow plug so that things are a bit more detailed for me to see. And I can see the cross section of this as well, just to make sure that I know that there is threads or something like that to fix this. Just not It's not just push and plug and play to set up these. So once I'm happy with this, again, I say use current view, and it just gets a snapshot created. So all these things can be exported as an image, as a PDF file, or as a PVZ file, so that downstream manufacturers can use this information, or or your customers, if you don't want to send them the actual 3D model, you can send them these technical illustration information, so that they can have a look at it and work on these. Now, the final section of it will have a look at the animation, and then we will have a look at publishing these documents, how we can publish these documents, and how these documents gets published. We'll have a look at that as well. So once I go into animation, the first thing I want to do is, before I go into animation, I want to select the original part, and I want to use this original part for my animation sequences. So I can as well do animation, or I can do sequencing. So it shows me step-by-step instructions, step-by-step information where I can create my, where I basically create my illustration and have a movie created through it. So I'll first select my sequence, and the first thing what you'll have to notice is whenever I click on sequence, I can create multiple steps, or I can create a single step and have all my information set up there. In this scenario, for this example, for the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to use single step. But if I need to have multiple steps, I can add multiple steps, and multiple steps can be added here as well. So whenever I create a new sequence, the first thing is the record content, and there's a red dot here, which means it's basically recording all my moves. Whatever move I do, it's recording them. So let's go ahead and start off by just making this a smaller one, and then I can select this and I can say transform. Let's disassemble this, and let's also select these four. Let's also select these four bolts, and then I can also move them up and select this glow plug, also take them up, and then try to fit them in the screen, and also select my cylinder head to move them up. Just gonna make sure that my glow plug is also visible, so I can have them visible here. As you can see at the bottom, it's getting recorded. Now, a cool feature here is, one of the cool features which I actually like is adding effects. So I can select this, and I can say add effects and fade out. So I'll add fade outs for that. So what will happen is, if I scroll back here and I can play this, you can see the first glow plug comes out, then the uh, then the bolts come out, and then it fades out into the abyss. So now you know how now the basically the maintenance crew knows what to remove first, which is the next process to do, and what is the third process to do. And then what I'll do is, I also want to make sure that I want to rotate this, and then I want to remove these four bolts, right? I want to remove these four bolts in a way where it removes the four bolts and also this housing. And I want to remove this and also make sure that it's fitting in my screen. Now, this way, if I just scroll it back, you can see that uh, the bolt gets removed, the glow plug, the head gets removed, fades out, then these four bolts come out, and then the casing comes out. Although one thing you would have noticed is the model doesn't get rotated automatically. So what I mean to say here is, let's say the model is facing this way. I want I basically want my model to rotate when this sequence of these four bolts we remove it. So for that, I need to go inside this camera section and then switch on my camera, and then you can see the camera sections get switched on, and then I'm going to start playing the information. But before I do that, let's go back here. I'll go ahead and click on the capture the frame again, and then start playing this, and then it starts to record the information. By the time the second information starts, what I'll do is I'll manually rotate this part, right? Once I manually rotate this part, I'm gonna use the capture window again so that it captures that information, and then I'm gonna play the remaining video. So once I'm happy with this, I'll go ahead and click on capture again, and then I'm gonna play it back from the beginning. Now, once I play this, you can see how slowly the motion itself, slowly the part itself gets rotated, and then by the time the second part gets removed, you have the visual setup, set it up in a way that it's rotated, and you can see the second component being removed as well. So this way you can have multiple steps. You can just have one step for the upper head, and you can have this second step for the casing as well as the bolts. And once you're happy with all these things, you can go ahead and publish them. Another cool thing which I wanted to show here is the under effects, you have multiple effects. You can have it fly in, you can have it fly out, or sometimes the amazing part is you can also have these screws shown in a way that it unscrews themselves. So you can use these information to create a visually pleasing technical information movie. Now, once I'm happy with this, what I can do is I can go back into File and I can say Publish. Here's something, you can always go in and publish it. That's not a problem. But here's something which I always tell my customers or people who are using Creo Illustrate to go through. Don't directly publish it. Go to Settings. Make sure you edit some of these publish options. Now, let's say I want this to be published in a way where I want the Creo 3D illustration also to be present. I want to add, let's say, PDF, right? Images of PDFs, right? And I want to make sure that I use the templates. I can add them, and I can add another one. Let's say I want to add a movie, the one which I just created, right? And I can set up the format, MP4 or WMV, and I can set up these information, the frames per frame rate per second information. And then I can add another one wherein I have my Creo view, the format which is Creo view or PDF for 3D technical illustration. Now, once I'm happy with these, I can set them in a way where I have all of them which can be published all together at once. I can have one being published for Creo view. I can have one being published for as a movie. I can have one being published as an image, JPEG format or a PDF format. And all of these can be published together, or they can be published separately, or you can publish them and you can view them. I'm not going to publish them for now because of the time concerns, but I have them published all here. So I have them published all here. So if I just open one of these and show you, you can see them being published. So you can have them. You can also have them created as a 3D 3D PDF where you can rotate these information in 3D PDF as well, or you can just have them in a 2D illustration. So you can do that as well. So you can see that you can zoom in, zoom out. This is a aspect of uh, PDF, Adobe PDF, but you can create them as 3D PDFs so that you can share them across your client. You can share them to your clients without sharing the actual design data to your customers. So this way, I have created them individually. If I don't want them to be created individually, I can create them separately. And here's the MP4 which I've created. If I play this, as you can see here, it plays the information. the way I want it to, and then it saves those information. So once that is done, you can send them an email, or if you can send your customers an email, you can transfer it to your manufacturers, and then they can have a look at it. Or if you have an in-house manufacturing unit, you can send this information to them so that they can easily assemble them. Or you can upload them again. Once you go inside file, you'll have the windshield option. You can again check this information back in, and it's all available and present inside your PLM PDM document inside your windshield, which basically will help you basically help you set up those different iterations which you have in basically help you in managing those data inside of windshield. You can do that as well. So this is the end of the demonstration. I want to quickly go back into the key takeaways which we just saw, and where would these things be really beneficial. So as you saw, it's an intuitive 3D technical. You can do it intuitively. You can do it very quickly. In a matter of minutes, I created my technical illustration, as you can see on the right hand side. The simple technical illustration which I've created. Within a matter of minutes, you can create them. You have seamless CAD integration. Doesn't matter which CAD application you use, you can bring those information inside Creo Illustrate and create the technical illustration automatically. And then there is automatic update capability, wherein if the CAD data gets changed, your Creo Illustrate also, the 3D illustration also can be changed. You can have a step-by-step animation creation, which we just saw, how the glow plugs gets removed, how the 4 bolts gets removed, how the cylinder head gets removed. And you can also have support for multiple output formats, which we also saw. We saw 3D PDF. We also saw PVZ files. We also saw MP4 files, and you can also have these AR files like SVG files also uh, being published, so that you can integrate them into your AR experience. Now, what does this help us? Where does this help us? It helps us to reduce ambiguity and errors with clear visual instructions, ideally for your frontline workers and global teams. Now, you can quickly create interactive parts for cataloging, for service manuals, for work instructions, for your SOPs. All this can be used to create inside of Creo Illustrate. Now, you can directly leverage CAD, or you can use Creo View or other systems. You don't need to recreate your geometry again for this specific purpose. We also spoke about associative linking to CAD models, ensuring the Illustrate stays updated and design changes gets propagated into your Creo Illustrate. Uh, so there is a easily you can also easily build your service procedures and assemblies and disassembly sequences for your downstream manufacturers or your customers. So these are some of the key takeaways from this, and as you can see, it's a very simple tool to use. In a matter of minutes, I was able to create a complete technical illustration of this part. So yeah, so this is your Creo Illustrate, and these are some of the benefits of it. Um, if you do have any questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat window. We have some time. We can address those questions. And in case you want a deep dive into this application, in case you want to understand more about this application, you can send those technical questions to me. There's my email ID. Or if you need to understand more about the product in terms of sales inquiries, we also have our sales email ID right there on your screen. So you can go, please make a note of this, and you can, you can send out an email if you want to have a separate chat with us, and we can get those solutions, get more information about those solutions for you. So if anyone has any questions, please do let us know. I'll give a minute or two so that you guys can answer those. You guys can have a look at those questions. You can type in those questions. Well, we have a question here. The question is, can we insert Excel sheets like bill of material parts and list directly inside of Creo Illustrate? Well, well, technically, no, you cannot insert an Excel sheet, but there are a couple of different options where you can bring in those technical information. You can convert that Excel into an image, like like an image, and bring that image inside like a PNG, and you can bring that image inside of the Creo and add them here inside of this page. You can do it that way. So yeah, so you can add you can say new figure. You can bring those figures. You can bring those figures in from this, and and then you can set it up in such a way that you can bring those 2D figures inside and then place that images here as well. Or like I said, you can add them as a symbol. You can open the symbol and then set it up in a way, set it up in a way that it's visually available. Or let's say the another option would be to use the callout feature, and you can have a custom callout, which is user-defined callouts, which is created, wherein you can use the callout to manually create your bill of material like references. You can use a number of parts and references, referencing the part list visually. You can use it that way as well. Um, so you can also link the bill of materials outside of Creo Illustrate. You can also use Windchill for bill of material management. So this is how you can use bill of material. You can get those information inside a bill of material information inside of Creo Illustrate. Any other questions? Yeah, just give me a second. I'm just going through these question. So we have another question here. I'm just going inside the question. The question is, after Explorer view, can we save as a CGM format? So the answer is yes, you can export it as a CGM format. However, if you are creating an explode line and then exporting it as CGM file, then you will have to use the 2D illustration view to export them. But yes, you can export after exploding. You can export them as CGM. You can export them as CGM format. Yes. Manoj, I'm sorry, I could not understand your question. It says, how do you how to know call out against to bring the table. Do you mean the bill of material tables? Well, you cannot directly bring the bill of material tables, but you will have to manually type those in for illustrative purpose. But you cannot directly bring in the table which gets updated. So you can create them as a screenshot and bring them in, or you can use custom callouts just to have those callouts, some of the information which is, for example, let's say we have item number and quantity, and let's say we have item number and quantity, and we can use them if that's reflecting. We can use them in the process as well. So this is the one which you can use, or you can have, like I said, you can have multiple information. You can create your own annotation, and here you can have you can insert those values here, and you can call them out individually. I hope that was the question. Yeah, like I said, bomb table, you cannot bring in a table altogether, but it's not like your 3D your 2D drawing where you can bring in your repeat regions, but you can have them as a screenshot and bring them here. Since this is just for technical illustration purpose, wherein your SOPs are created, manuals are created, which will be necessary for the maintenance people or downstream manufacturers to use it. For those things, these can be used. These are only used when the final part is released, and once the part is ready to be shipped out to the consumers or to the customers, only then these illustrations are created. And some of these illustrations are also created internally for assembly purpose. And this again is the final part of it. So the bill of material, like you said, we cannot directly bring in the Excel sheet, but we have, like I said, you can use these call out functions individually to select the items and call out specific table functions. When I say table function, specific information inside the table to be called out, not the table altogether. Any more questions, guys? We have 3 minutes at the clock. So if you still, I'm sorry, 2 minutes in the clock. If you still have any more questions, you can send out an email. Um, I'll just put my email ID here for you guys to you know we can touch base on this in case if you want to speak about this a bit more. We can touch base on and we can set up a call individually, and we can deep dive into the application itself. So please do make a note of this information. And we also have our YouTube channel. You can go inside our YouTube channel, and we have a lot of webinars which we have set up. You can also look into our PDS Vision webpage. We have a lot of upcoming webinars which you can look into, and you can register yourself there, which can help you get more information about the different aspects of Creo and its products, of PTC's products as well. So if no one has any more questions, I think we can end this session. I am really thankful for everyone who attended, and thank you so much for your attendance, and have a wonderful day. Thank you, guys.